Hi everyone, it's Erin. It's Monday, September the 11th, 2017, and today we remember the folks that disappeared on 2001, and we remember the Benghazi situation and the false flags.
And Jeff Winehouse.
And also Jeff Winehouse is expecting a reply today from his bad guys. So also I have here a letter from Schaeffer. It says, "Dear Rudy," and it starts off talking about perhaps someone is a Fed. And I'm just going to leave that out because I don't want to mention any names and because they probably aren't. And I'll just skip that first paragraph. He says, "This is how the deep state poisons a society. They saturate it with spies to the point where nobody can trust anyone else. Human interactions freeze up and the country dies." And I'll just say here that's funny because today I heard that Gary Hunt has to take down his post about the informants at Malheur Refuge and possibly Bunkerville, but it's still on his page. If anyone wants to go and grab it and repost it, they're allowed to, according to the court documents. Check them out for yourself. I know Redoubt News also posted them, and they don't have to take them down, but Gary does. So you might check out that article on Redoubt News about Gary Hunt. And he's going to comply on Wednesday, so if you want to see the names, go grab them. And it says, I sent you a letter about Scrocky's hoax hit list. Did you get it? Yeah, we got it. The YouTube transcript was good, thanks. You are right that Angela Clemens and Margaret are doing great. I haven't heard back from Joe Burlak yet, but I sent him a letter. Schaeffer put Schreffler put $100 on my commissary account, so put out a big thank you for that, please. Alex Jones thinks Pizzagate was a fake story put out by pedophiles as a decoy to draw attention away from real stories. The Justin Bieber, Katy Perry stories may be the same thing, but the debunking article that goes out of its way to make the politically correct distinction between pedophilia and child sex abuse is highly suspect too. Don't trust anyone who tries to split hairs by saying a pedophile, quote, who only has sex with, quote, consenting 5-year-olds is not the same as a child sex abuser who tricks 5-year-olds into sex or forces them into it. Whoever wrote that can go sell their crazy someplace else. We're all full up here. Notice that Scrocky told the 3-judge panel the jury rejected Mr. Cox's testimony. Again, this statement is not technically a lie, but the fact remains that my testimony was the truth and that we can prove that Scrocky knew it was the truth. He says so in emails to Agent Sutherland. So, Scrocky didn't say my testimony was a lie, he just said the jury rejected it. Very sneaky. He should be called Sneaky Scrocky. This is the same type of technically true deception as Scrocky used when he told the jury, "You'll never find Mr. Cox saying attacking the government is a bad idea. Look through all the audios you have," he said. Of course they won't find it. On the audios they have. It's on the audios they don't have. And it's on there hundreds of times. What you will never find, because it doesn't exist, is me saying attacking the government is a good idea. Let me translate the appeals court's ruling into simple English. the KJNP TV station interview, where Schaeffer Cox had some security outside, is not even close to soliciting the murder of federal officials. So we are throwing that charge out for good. The conspiracy to fight back against a government years out in the future, if there's martial law, and if the government collapses, and if the world turns into road warrior, that highly contingent conspiracy, which is predicated on apocalyptic events that will never happen, also has major problems, because your trial attorney, Nelson Traverso, didn't object to any of that lunacy. We aren't getting into it. For now, that charge stays, but we are going to send you back to get a new sentence. So, maybe you can get some time off that 27 years. And while you're there, you can ask the district court judge who did your trial to give you a redo on fighting the road warrior conspiracy. Tell him Nelson Traverso was such an incompetent boob that it wasn't fair to you. Good luck. This case is so embarrassing that we aren't even going to publish it online. However, that doesn't mean sending more people to prison for impossible road warrior future conspiracies is off the table. The First Circuit has said you can't throw people in prison for plotting to do the impossible in an imaginary future, period. But we at the Ninth Circuit are going to allow it as long as the one wishing to do the impossible doesn't know it's impossible. Maybe the Supreme Court will take up this issue and tell us different. But as of right now, if you live in the Ninth Circuit, you can be sent to prison for fantasizing about rising up to restore liberty when or if society implodes. That's what the 3-judge panel basically said in their 6-page super short ruling. I think they are wrong to allow future road warrior conspiracies, but they did throw out half of my case. They did vacate my 27-year sentence, so I can argue for less time. And they did leave the door open for me to still fight the charge they let stand. That's all good progress. They could have said, we looked over this conspiracy charge and we are determining that it's supported by the law and by the evidence. So, Schaeffer Cox is screwed for 27 years. They didn't say that. They said, go back to the lower court and sort this out the rest of the way. So, the fight's not over yet, but by the way the appeal went is definitely a step in the right direction. Schaeffer Cox. Well, I'm glad to get his reply on what he thought about it, and thanks for listening. Good night.